Hey guys, this is Jay here from Gymaware. Really hope you're enjoying Coach Tamaya's podcast series so far. Here at Gymaware, we've just released our brand new VBT product, Flex. So I just want to give you a bit of insight into what it is and how it could help you as a coach or athlete. Flex uses brand new laser optic technology to measure barbell velocity, so like Gymaware, it's highly accurate. The device connects straight to your iPhone or iPad. We've had an independent validation study to confirm that Flex is highly accurate. We have loads of awesome features already, and our experienced development team continues to work on software updates each and every day. Key performance metrics are available, including both peak and mean velocity, peak and mean power, distance, bar position and bar path. If you guys want any more information on Flex, velocity-based training, just be sure to reach out, go to our website, check us out on socials as well. But for now, we hope you enjoy the rest of Coach Tamaya's podcast.
The world of strength and conditioning is filled with some fantastic practitioners that are always searching for more. But more what? What are strength and conditioning coaches searching for to better their ability to prepare their athletes? Well, what about cutting-edge information? Or a place where you can find different opinions from forward-thinking coaches on what you're doing, how you're doing, and try to get feedback to be better for your athletes? Or what about a place where you'll find like-minded coaches that can provide solid coaching advice and career development for you as you progress through your career as a strength and conditioning professional? Well, this is exactly why we built the Strength Coach Network. You'll have access to exclusive monthly content on top of the sensationally active forum that we have, where you can communicate with coaches all over the world to find those answers that you're looking for to help you be a better practitioner for your athletes. So make sure you hop on over to strengthcoachnetwork.com/CVASPs, that's strengthcoachnetwork.com/CVASPS, and get your 48-hour trial for only $1. I look forward to seeing you in the Strength Coach Network.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 84th episode of Outside the Rack, brought to you by Kinetic Performance, the makers of Gymaware. In this show, we're just going to try to dive a little deeper into the minds of the top practitioners in the world of sport performance to learn a little bit more about who they actually are and how they got to where they are today. Today, we are joined by the sport performance coach for men's basketball at the University of Massachusetts, Josh Washington. Josh, thanks for being with us today, buddy.
Appreciate it, Jay. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man. Glad you're doing well. Glad we get a chance to catch up. And It's always great to see you, man. But before we get too far into this, who is Josh?
Sure. So who is Josh? Currently strength coach here with UMass men's basketball, born and raised Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Throughout the career, I've spent some time in Florida, back at home in Wisconsin, moved out to Cali, going through all my internships and things like that. Spent some time in the South at Auburn, Alabama, getting my master's down there, spending time with the men's teams there. And then to here now at UMass, getting my first full-time gig. So who is Josh? I guess I would say full-time strength coach, full-time trash talker, part-time lifter, part-time basketball player. That'd be Josh in a nutshell.
I love that, dude. Full-time strength coach, full-time trash talker. That's great.
Yep.
Now, and people are going to sit here and be like, he's like one of those loud guys on the bench, but no, it's trash talking back and forth with the guys, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, trash talk back and forth with the guys. You see them all the time, and with basketball, they kind of their persona and like that dynamic there, and like trash talk is a big part of the game. So for me, and growing up, for me playing basketball, I've always trash talk, and it's cool as long as you can back it up. So for me, trash talking our guys, right? Like, oh, you're not in the gym getting the shots up. If anybody sees my Instagram, like they see me posting me in the gym, I was like, yeah, because I got to back it up at some point, right? I just can't talk. They're going to say, I never see you getting shots up, coach. So full-time trash talker, just because I do enjoy it. It's fun. It's a way for me to bond with the guys. But I mean, I've always done it also. So if you can back it up, it's all good. If you can't, you just talk. We call it chatting. So if you're just chatting, like, that's not good.
I love that, man. If it's just chatting, it's not good. I love that. That's a great line. I might be borrowing that when these guys start getting back here in the weight room. But
there you go.
as a guy who's been up and down the country and been to some big time spots and doing great things up there in Amherst right now, I'm fired up for number one, buddy. So if you wouldn't mind, describe a learning situation that brought about an epiphany in your career.
For sure. So for me, early on, like in strength and conditioning, For the listeners, I got my undergrad in sports management. So for me going into strength and conditioning, like it was a different field for me completely, but I was teaching myself all these things, trying to learn it as much as I can. And from an outside looking in, like we see the strength coaches on TV, most notably like maybe like the football guys, right? So you see them like yelling, they're getting excited. And there's different ends on the spectrum with strength coaches. So you have the guys who are like really loud and like vocal, and there's not anything wrong with that. And then you got the guys who are maybe a little bit more calm in demeanor and not so vocal in that regard. And for me, I think I'm somewhere in between. But when I first got into strength conditioning, I thought I had to be like a loud, in your face, macho type of guy. And I just wasn't me. Like growing up where I'm from, like if I was yelling at a guy's face, like he'd probably punch me. But the epiphany I had was early in my career. I was interning at Stanford University under Corey Schlesinger. He was the men's basketball strength coach at the time. Now he's with the Phoenix Suns. But learning early on, like I thought I had to be a certain way. And Corey, either he knew or he just saw like I wasn't like showing who I really was. And he just said, yo, Josh, like if anything you do in this career, he said, be yourself. He said, trust me, like it'll go a long way. Like your guys, like they'll respond to you better. He said, but the biggest thing, like if you fake it and they notice it and they catch it, like you already lost them. He said, you're better off being yourself. So if that's a corny dude, be corny. You know, if you're loud and macho, like be that too. He said, but whatever it is, be yourself and then show your personality. And I knew what he was saying, but I didn't have the aha moment until we're going through a warm up and he lets me run the warm up with the guys. And I like to crack jokes. Like that's kind of my thing, Jay. So we're going through the warm up. I think we were doing like some ham floss, like some stretching, dynamic stretching. And I said, ooh, real flossy. I said, way to get real flossy or something like that. And all the guys start laughing. So Corey, if you're listening, I know you remember this story, but all the guys start laughing. And I'm like laughing to the point, Jay, where like they stopped doing the warm up. Like they thought it was mad funny. And I'm like, oh shit. So I kind of turned and look at Corey because I'm thinking he's going to be upset the guys weren't warming up. And Corey's laughing. So I'm like, that was my aha moment. I was like, oh, okay, I can be myself. And like, this is still normal. And from that point on, Jay, I think just looking at that point, moving throughout my career, I got more comfortable like in my own skin. And I think that helped me. I think I had the present just because like my stature and stuff like that. But I think that helped me as far as like find like my niche or like who I am as a coach and just being able to express that. So that was my big moment there because you read the textbooks, you know, they do the whole fake it till you make it. So I'm watching other coaches like, oh, I have to act like that. Like, that's not really me. But just Corey saying like, yo, be yourself. And then actually understanding what that meant and then seeing it actually happen. And I was like, at that point, I'm at a point now where I'm comfortable with who I am. And I'm like, oh, I got this. Like I can talk to anybody. But I think early on, like I just thought I had to fill a certain persona. Like, even though it wasn't me. And like now I'm me, I'm Josh. I still talk jokes, right? I still trash talk, I still crack the jokes, but I'm still a strength coach. Guys are still training. It's still important to me. It's just I don't have to be in your face and yelling about it. I can just take a different approach to it. So I guess with that epiphany, it just goes down with the cliche, you know, it's a million ways to skin a dead cat.
Yeah. And I think too is, and I don't know, maybe it's just because we're in basketball that I say, especially in basketball, because this is who we deal with. But
Yeah.
these dudes can see through it when it's not you. Like I've got guys, like if I'm in a bad mood, like I've got guys that like they'll just walk around the weight room and just yell, stop, stop, stop. Jay's in a bad mood. Jay's in a bad mood. And it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, that means I can't be a jerk today because they're seeing through this like this crap. So
Yeah. And
suck
like
it up,
we're all
buttercup.
right? Seriously. And we're all human. So like our guys, like, cause I'll get my attitude here and there too. And I notice when I catch it. So I tell them, I say like, hey, today not the day. Like I'm gonna give you a warning. I'm like, you get one warning. So I've told them like several times, like I gave them a heads up off the jump, and they still were like joking around during the warm up. So after I snap on them, they get quiet and they're like, oh, Josh is mad now. I'm like, well, yeah, but I told you ahead of time I was mad. Like you had an opportunity, you know. I say, but you guys weren't locked in, so now I have to snap on you. Now you guys get locked in off because of it. But I'm like, I don't want to snap on y'all, but if you're not taking it seriously, like sometimes you gotta nip it in the bud. So it's funny because these kids, like they're young, but they're so smart and they pick up on everything. But
Yeah,
no,
no
that's
doubt.
definitely like you said. They see it and it's like, nope, got to start over. Jay's upset, Josh is upset. Nope, can't go out like that.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's funny.
it is funny, man. But listen, dude, to figure these things out and to come to these learning situations and to grow, you got to be willing to ask a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us to number 2. If Josh could ask one question and he knows he's going to get the answer to it, what would that question be and why?
So this one I gave the most thought, but I think my question would be, is there life on other planets? And the reason why I asked that, because it's outside the rack, but the reason why I asked that, wanted to ask that question and why, is because I feel like if we get that answer, it would address a lot of other questions as far as like, I think a couple of years ago, people were trying to storm Area 51. Like that was a big thing because we want to know, right? Like what is out there? SpaceX is another thing. Like if people get into investing in stocks and stuff like that, like there's a big ongoing, like I guess buzz you can say as far as like space travel. Just wondering, could we sustain life on another planet? And my question, well, is there life already on other planets? Just because I think as strength coaches, right? Like we're all, I think, scientists, and I think we all scientists by default. And I think you want to try things to see if it works, and then you go back to the drawing board, things of that nature. But in the same token, it's like, how can you not question like other life on another planet? And I think on a broader term, we live in our solar system, right? In the Milky Way galaxy, it's small, but like we all realize there's a greater world out there. But I don't think anyone ever addresses the question like, well, is there? Like we want to know, but it's like, do you really want to know? So I think my question is there life on other planets? Because I want to know that. And then also, what was the other question I think would stem from that? It would stem from like religion and just like evolution and things of like too, because I think the science has one thing as evolution, then religion, it's a little bit different. But those are two different rabbit holes you can go down. But I think my question would be, is there life on other planets? I want to know the answer for like a definitive answer. I think I have one in my mind, but I just want something conclusive.
I would be petrified if the answer was actually yes. Just because I'm like a sci-fi movie nerd.
Same.
Like sitting there and being like, like those type of things are like an escape for me, because you can just like basically turn it off. And it's like, oh, this is just neat and entertaining and cool. But now all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, Thanos might really be out there. Nah, dude, I'm
right. It's not like, and because I think about all the time, I'm like, nowadays with technology and how smart people are, I think if they really wanted to find an answer out, they could, but maybe subconsciously somewhere deep down inside, buried in there, it's like, no, you really don't want to know. You don't want to peel back that layer and find out what's really underneath there. Because like you said, like I'm into the sci-fi, like I think of movies like Interstellar or Arrival and stuff like that. I'm like, man, this is really interesting. Like I really want to know, like, is there other life forms? Like, and I think that's just me naturally being curious. But yeah, I terrified would probably be an understatement, because I'd definitely be terrified to find an answer to it if it is ended up being yes. Because it's like, okay, well, yes, and it's like, well, now what? Who knows?
Yeah, I guess it would open up some neat stuff though, right? Like we would be able to, maybe it's worth all of these things and trying to find a way to get to Mars. Like, like Joe Rogan and oh my gosh, how am I drawing a blank with what his name is?
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Is that who you're thinking of?
No, the Tesla guy. Why am I like just like smacked in the face?
Oh,
the
Elon.
Yeah,
Musk,
Elon Musk, the richest guy on the planet. Can't remember his name. Oh, have another one. But anyway, like how they were talking, he's like, yeah, we can live on Mars, and we're gonna live on Mars. Like, and Elon's just talking about this, like, yeah, it might rain tomorrow, but we're gonna live on Mars. It's like, bro,
yeah.
What? We're gonna live where? Like, I don't know if I would want to like move back above the Mason-Dixon line because of winter, and you're talking about living on Mars, like
that. I don't know why my mind went here with it, Jay, but just I'm thinking like the time travel to get there. I'm like, I don't like being in a plane like over a certain long amount of time. Like I don't know what a spaceship looks like traveling to another planet, but yeah, I don't know. He really does. Elon Musk really does talk about it like very nonchalantly. Like, yeah, let's live on another planet. No big deal. I'm like, no big deal. Me checking to see if it's raining outside is no big deal. Like a whole nother planet. Like, come on now. No, yeah, no, those would be good questions. I wonder what does come from it though.
It's hilarious, man, and it's awesome. But
Yeah.
it's coming. Like
Hmm.
that's the crazy part. Is like when I was a kid back in the '80s. So a lot of people don't even know when that was. There were like jokes about like space stations and like then all of a sudden they had like these things have come so far that like
Yeah.
this for real is going to happen at some point and we're probably going to see it. So like I guess it would probably be best to know if we are going to do this, if like alien could actually happen
Yeah.
instead of just turning the corner and being like the one guy that says, I'll be right back, right? Because that's the last thing you can say in a horror movie because you're definitely going to die.
Hmm.
And then
Yep.
like,
Not coming back.
yeah, you turn the corner and some like creature is just like swallows you whole.
Yep.
And I bet every single human being listening to this right now is like, this is not the direction I expected this conversation to go.
Right. And I tried to
That's
preface
awesome.
it and I was like, you can go down multiple rabbit holes with this one, but I try to leave it on the surface level, but no, because whoever's listening are like, oh wow, I didn't expect that.
Nah,
But
dude, I
yeah,
love it.
no, movies like that. There was another movie, maybe it was like a documentary. It was like Bob Lazar. He was a guy who was working at Area 51 way back when. It was on Netflix. And he kind of blew the lid on Area 51 and they labeled him as basically like as a liar, like they scrubbed his records. Like it's a good documentary. So if anyone watches it, if you Google Bob Lazar, I'm sure you can find it. But I would say watch it for yourself, develop your own opinion. But no, that's some good stuff out there. And I love a good conspiracy theory too. Don't get me wrong, and I'm aware of it, so I don't get too caught off on it. But it's entertaining to say the least.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
But you know, we got into some of it. So
Hmm.
hopefully we can get you to go down a different rabbit hole with this one.
Okay.
But I mean, it's no joke that this season's been tough, man. Like it's been
Hmm.
hard. It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of stress and all this. So hopefully you'll be able to do this also soon. But man, what's Josh's escape?
So my escape, Jay, and this probably stems back to probably just when I was younger and like in high school, maybe middle school. But my escape, bad day, good day, or I just want to be alone. I want time to myself. I got free time. What am I going to do? My safe haven would be just basketball. I think for me, nothing will be an empty gym, loud music, a hoop, and like the rock. Like that's all you need. I think, and the reason why I say I think that stemmed from growing up. I remember back in high school, like we didn't have access to the gym 24/7, like kind of I do now. So I remember me and my buddy, my best friend Brian, we would sneak into the gym at night, or sneak into the gym whenever he could, and just get shots up and just play 1-on-1, whatever. Um, there are courts outside, but like when school was out and it was the summer, they take the rims off the court. So we were always trying to find somewhere to play hoops. Like we didn't have a basketball court in our garage or anything like that. So we'd sneak into the gym to a point where like we got caught and then they gave us access but didn't tell anybody. So you fast forward, I think when I internship with the Sacramento Kings, I had 24-hour access. So I would come in like when guys are on the road and I always come to gym 10, 11 o'clock at night and just shoot hoops. But for me, Jay, like that was just like giving me peace of mind, just shoot, work on the game. Even like now here, like I still have 24-hour access. I just come in and just shoot on my own just because, like I said before, bad day, good day. I don't know what it is about me. It distracts me. It gets my mind off of it. I'm not thinking about whatever's on my mind. So like you said, with this season with COVID, the starting, the stopping, the nose swabs, uh, just like all the uncertainty. So I think for anyone who's listening, I think it's important that you all just take a moment and hear what I'm saying and just reflect and like, you know what, like good or bad year, you got through it. You're still here. So I think 2020, this basketball season, this 2020 life in general has been enduring in and of itself. So to say we all made it is a positive because some people didn't. So there's times where like our guys can come to the gym because we're on lockdown, and then here I am trying to sneak in, and I may or may not got in trouble for it, but it's just little things like that, and like I've never taken it for granted but I think it always like strengthened my perspective of it and how much I appreciate it. So yeah, my safe haven, just getting on the court, playing basketball one on one. That's probably like my go-to. Um, yeah, and it stemmed from an early age, not being able to go into the gym, and then now coming full circle, I can just go in whenever I want. I think now the thing I'm looking forward to, like I guess after post COVID or post vaccine, depending on how things go down, is actually being able to play 5-on-5 or full court. Like gyms and stuff are closed. Like I would join a rec league or just play open gym on Sundays or whatever. But that hasn't been a thing yet. So every once in a while, I go on Google and see like where people are playing in Western Mass. But good day, bad day. Like I said, like basketball is always going to be there. Like it's been there for me from the beginning. So if I'm having a bad day, like just go to the gym, turn some music on, get some shots up, and like usually by then, like it's rare. I don't think it's ever happened where I did that and I didn't feel better about whatever situation I had going on.
I dig it, man. I think that's great. And I think that like all too often we like to look at those escapes or those resets as things that are done sporadically, but having something that you can do regularly is even more important.
Yeah.
And I also think that line is worth $1,000,000. Good or bad year, you got through it. You're still here. I can't tell you how much I needed to hear that right now, dude. Like for real. Like it's been a
And
struggle bus for a minute.
I think the other thing with that, because like good or bad, like we still made it. And I shouldn't say never, but I didn't like comparing my situation to others. But I did that. I found myself doing that frequently during COVID because while I was complaining, like, man, why we got to test twice a week or in season, why we got to test 3 times a week, or why do we got to swab? I don't believe in, like, regardless of what my beliefs are and things of that nature with COVID, there's somebody going through like someone has to go through jump through way more hoops than I do. Whether it be, whether it be, the healthcare workers like still working through it, or people who like lost their job. Like I'm thankful I didn't lose a job. I didn't have to be furloughed or anything like that. So glasses, for another line, like the glass is always half full. So while like this year was a struggle and like it was very trying, it definitely could have been worse. It can always be worse. So I think just trying to have that perspective also is like, hey, you gotta get through it, but just know like while this is hard, somebody's going through something way worse than you, and they might not even have the mental capacity to like to deal with it. Like at least I feel like I got a fighting chance. Like imagine losing your job, you have like kids, mouths to feed, but you don't have any money. And like that little stimulus check, like people get excited for the stimulus check. That's not helping those people. Like you might keep the lights on a little bit longer. So for me complaining about, they're like, oh, you complain about swabbing your nose. Like, I don't know how I'm going to feed my kids tonight. So I think having that perspective, and I think growing up through hardships and stuff like that always helped bring me like clarity to the situation. But for like good or bad, like we got through it. We're all here. People who are still going through it, like I'm here for you. Like I get it because I've been there before. But I just try not to lose sight of like how good we still got it. Because at the end of the day, like didn't lose our job, right? Still get to perform, still get to train our players and stuff like that. So I can't complain about doing a swab. Whether I have to get up, like today, I think I have to be here at 8:30 to get the test done. But I'm not worried about feeding anyone. Like I still have a job. I didn't lose any money. My lights and bills are still paid. So it'd be very selfish of me to why me, why me, why me? Like during COVID, it's like, yo, somebody's being affected way worse than you doing COVID. Like just try to keep perspective on that. So I mean, yeah, for now it's if I'm going through something, I get on the court and play basketball and then just self-reflect and realize it could always be worse. So you gotta count your blessings.
No doubt, man. That's freaking great stuff. Josh, man, it's always great to see you. I'm glad you're doing great. I'm glad things are good,
Appreciate
man.
it, Jay.
And I hope that we can catch up for real down here the next time because it stinks that you made the trip down here twice and we couldn't even show you around because it's a fun
Right.
town.
I want to check out your spot. Even like we seen VCU because we practiced there. Like we stopped by and seen their basketball side with their facility and like how nice Bruce has it set up over there. But I couldn't even like speak in like talk. It was just awkward. 2020 makes it awkward, and I feel like I'm already kind of an introvert. So when I do try to reach out, and then COVID puts a halt to it, it's like, man, I'm really trying. You're not making it easier, but no, definitely next time around, like things would be different because I'll be excited to actually get down there and actually chop it up and talk, and not just at half court or virtually at least.
No doubt, man. No
Yeah.
doubt. Listen, buddy, I truly appreciate your time. This is fantastic stuff, and we'll be in touch soon.
Sounds good, Jay. Appreciate it, man. Thank you again.
Yeah, man. Cheers.